Hello, welcome to another class. Welcome to a ride. Let's just start off today by sitting up nice and tall the way I am. Adjusting your resistance so it's really light. And just letting your arms relax. Swing a little bit to the side. Maybe wiggle them and shake them out a little bit. Let your shoulders relax. Just take a few deep breaths from your belly as you do this. And when you're ready, we can come back down to the handlebars. As we set our hands on the handlebars, let's just make sure they're resting on the bars. And we're not grasping, you know what I mean? We're just resting our arms on the bars. And we're keeping the shoulders away from the ears and the elbows slightly bent. That in turn keeps the upper body pretty relaxed. And we can still let the belly relax. A lot of times in cycling classes you hear people about holding in the belly, tighten up your core, they say. But they really are talking about the abs. And we don't need to tighten up the abs. In fact, we don't want to. We want to leave them relaxed so the diaphragm has enough room to expand and pull that air in when we're breathing. And as we pedal here very lightly, quite slowly, let's see if we can't become aware of the different muscle groups of the legs as you're powering that pedal stroke. It's worth tuning into that, even at this light resistance and slow pedaling speed. And it's also sometimes useful to sit up and pedal and just notice that your upper body and your lower body are decoupled in this fashion. When we sit here and pedal, we can notice that the pedal stroke is generated entirely from the hips and into the legs. And that is worth paying attention to. Let's go ahead and bring our pedal speed up. Now, keeping the same light resistance, let's just come up to around 90 RPM or so. If you have a computer on your bike, you're welcome to look at that and use it to find your 90 RPM. Even so, I would encourage you to get a feel for what 90 RPM is in your legs, how it feels in your hips. The computer can sometimes become this thing that takes us out of our bodies. And I always think it's best to be able to tune into the body and just know. It's kind of like, you get dependent on your map directions in your car and you don't even learn your city. Because you're just waiting for the map to tell you what to do. It's kind of like this. A computer can be useful, but I think it's best to tune into the body. So I'm at about 90 RPM right now, light resistance. And I can feel my legs beginning to warm up a little bit. And as we're pedaling along here, warming up the legs, still pay attention to the muscle groups and where they engage in that circle. Where do you feel the quads kick in? Where do you feel the calves and hamstrings? Where do you feel the hips and glutes and lower back? What are the hips doing on the saddle? Are they nice and steady? Good. We have really only 3 points of contact with the bike: the saddle, the pedals, and the handlebars. And so we can use those points of contact to come back into the body and maybe merge with the machine a little bit. Bikes are beautiful things, beautifully built for allowing us to apply power to the pedals from the muscles of the legs. So efficient. Let's go ahead and pick up our pedal speed. Make sure you keep your resistance light. Let's come up to maybe 95 to 100. And as we get up to this high pedal speed, you'll notice there's a tendency for the hips to want to bounce in the saddle a little bit, and that just encourages us to stitch together that circular pedal stroke more effectively, applying power around the circle. If you find this is uncomfortable in your muscles, if you find that it hurts in your muscles, take down your resistance. All we're trying to do now is bring some warmth and fluidity into the muscles. That's our only goal at the moment. Alright, let's slow our legs way down again. Slow them way down again. Let's check in with our breathing. Shaking out the arms. I want you to notice if your breath is picked up at all. It has, I'm sure. So notice how much it has. It's another way of practicing body awareness when we're working out. All right, let's get into some work now. We're going to come back to 90 RPM, and then we're going to add resistance. That feels like we've been now out into riding on the road for fitness. We're in a working zone. It's a low-level working zone, maybe low to moderate, but we can feel the muscle engagement. We can feel the heart rate coming up even more as we do that. Let's come back to our handlebars. Get your legs to around 90 RPM. And again, feel for it first maybe, and then check your computer. I have no computer. I took it off. I don't even know where it is. It's too bad. This thing's like $200-300 each. So let's add in some resistance now. Now I want you to imagine that we're out on the ride together and you just clicked on your bike here. Click, click, a couple gears harder, and we've commenced the ride. What I love is I can now really feel the different muscles working, especially as I'm scraping mud through the bottom of the pedal stroke. That becomes more apparent the more resistance or power you're making with your muscles. So breathe deeply. Keep the upper body relaxed. If you feel like it's okay, you can close your eyes and tune into those muscles and the rhythm as much as you can. Noticing when your stressful thoughts come up and just trying to let them go. For me, sometimes it's useful to have the eyes closed and tune into the muscles. Other times I open my eyes and maybe just stare at something on the handlebars or out in the distance here. Just noticing those thoughts and always trying to come back into the moment. What's your breath doing at this very second? On a scale of 1 to 10, out of breathness, where would it be? How is it trending? Upwards? Downwards? Upwards, right? Trending upwards. Feeling the warmth come into the muscles of the legs. Maybe you're starting to notice a little bit of sweat. That might start happening about right now. That's where I'm starting to notice. Now I'm gonna sit up, keeping the same effort. Not gonna change anything. I'm just gonna sit up and practice that decoupling of the lower body from the upper body. Same amount of power being created with the muscles of the legs. I'm going to let my arms just hang to the side. Teaching the body to generate that pedal stroke from the hips down, lower back down. My breath is still picking up. You can probably start to hear it. Now let me ask you a question. What if I said we had to do this for 40 minutes? This right here. What's your immediate reaction to that? If it's like, oh my God, no way. Then go ahead and take out some resistance. If your reaction is, yikes, don't know. That'd be awfully hard. You're about where I am. I mean, I'm starting to sweat. My breathing is coming up. 40 minutes seems like a long time. But, I mean, if somebody stood here saying, can you do this? I might be able to. All right, we're going to speed up the legs. We're going to come up to 100 RPM in 3 and 2 and 1. Come on up to 100. Yeah, this is a lot harder. Excellent opportunity to practice keeping those hips relaxed. Hands light on the handlebars. Beautifully stitched together pedal strokes. All the way around. In 3, 2, and 1. Let's reduce our resistance by a little bit. Come back to 85 or 90 RPM. That got me sweating. We've reduced the resistance a little bit. We're going to come back up to 100. It'll be slightly easier this time. And 2. And 1. Back up to 100. Settle the hips, shoulders down. Breathe. All right, slow your legs down. Beautiful. Just pedal nice and slow here. Let your heart rate come down a little bit. We're going to start to go deeper now. We're going to work a little bit harder. Start to find that edge. So, reaching down, we're going to add resistance. It feels like we've hit a pretty significant hill. I want you to find a cadence in the 60 to 70 range. And at the very beginning of this, let's notice the hips and the glutes pushing us over the top through the heel of the foot. Overemphasize it at first if you need to get that feeling. And we've got a level of resistance now that's really challenging the muscles of the legs. So the heart rate's coming up, the breathing's picking up. Now I want you to do an experiment with me. We're going to try to pedal for just a few seconds, only with the quads. And when we do that, we'll notice when we come back to good full circle pedaling, the hips more clearly. So now, just push with your quads as much as you can. I find that hurts almost immediately. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, bring those hips in. Scrape that mud off the ball of the foot. What we're doing is filling in the top and the bottom of the pedal stroke. Can you relax your shoulders a little bit? Can you release the tension in the belly so you can breathe? Our breath is getting rapid now. Legs are getting tired. If I told you we had to hold this for 10 or 12 minutes, that would seem extremely difficult. That's a feeling I want you to have. You could maybe do it, but it'd be awfully tough. Adjust your resistance so that you have that feeling. If you find yourself driving with the quads excessively, bring those hips back in, bring those calves and hamstrings in. This music, it's what they call the pentatonic scale, the minor pentatonic scale. You take your major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Take a couple notes out, and now you have a 5-note scale. In the minor mode, it's called the minor pentatonic. That's what this is. It's most of rock music, most of blues music. Soloing in 3 and 2 and 1. Let's bring our resistance way back down. Good. Check your breathing. Scale of 1 to 10. And just turn your legs nice and easy for a moment. That should have gotten us maybe 6 or 7 on the out of breathness scale. Sounds like the person's playing it on a bass. If so, that's really good. Those are much thicker strings. And that's hard to do, but I think that was a bass player doing that, which is impressive. All right, we're going to do a couple of flat road into standing acceleration on the flat road, back to seated, standing acceleration on the flat road. When we stand to accelerate, we'll shift gears, add resistance, and pick up our leg speed a little bit. So I want you to visualize pedaling along the flat road and then shifting gears and standing to accelerate for a few seconds, then shifting back to the gear you were in and sitting back down. We've accelerated, and then we put it back into our gear and we come back to the speed we were at. We just put some distance on somebody we're riding with. Okay, let's come into our seated flat road position. Let's add some resistance. It feels like we're in the working zone again. And set up a leg speed that's close to mine right here. This is an odd rhythm song, but I'm actually on the rhythm of it. So we're going to accelerate out of the saddle, shifting gears, picking up the leg speed, distributing our body weight into the pedals and handlebars, being in a balanced, beautiful position, and then we'll come back to this right here. In 3, and 2, and 1. Add that gear, shift the gears, accelerate the legs. This will be challenging. It's meant to be. Now dial it back to where you were. Slow your legs. How'd that feel? If that got you really out of breath, if you found that very difficult to do, you're doing exactly what I'm doing. You ready for your next one? Take a deep breath. In 3, 2, and 1. Shift the gears, accelerate your legs. Dial it back, come back to where you were. One more to go. Remember, visualize that scene where we're riding along on a flat road, you shift gears and accelerate away from me or your friends or whatever. You ready? In 3, and 2, and 1. Add the gear, accelerate away. And now come back to where we were. Each of those little accelerations got us 10, 15 yards ahead of somebody who's maintaining a steady pace. Now we're back to that same pace, but 30 to 45 yards ahead. Nice. So now that person would have to accelerate to catch up to us. In 3, and 2, and 1. Let's slow our legs down, reduce your resistance. Feel free to sit up. Grab some water. I love those kinds of efforts. Working on a flat road, adding work for a few seconds, coming back to the work level before. I love this. I haven't untangled my cord yet. It's been tangled now for a few days. Okay, you ready to go even deeper still? Just allow your legs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Find this rhythm. Meanwhile, keep your resistance light. And make sure your hands are light on the bars and make sure your shoulders and back are very neutral and relaxed. I want us to consider adding a gear resistance at this pedal speed that you would find very difficult to do for 5 minutes. And remember, this is a feeling. It's not amount of resistance, it's a feeling. There'll be different amounts of resistance for all of us, but the feeling will be the same. And then we're going to hold it a minute and a half or so. Sound doable? This will be a wonderful opportunity to tune into the body and the breath and feel those muscles working through the whole circle. Beautiful opportunity for that. Once we get started, I won't say anything. We're just going to be. And you're going to notice your thoughts. And you're going to practice releasing them like leaves on the river floating by. In 3. And 2. And 1. Add that resistance in. Feels like you couldn't do it 5 minutes. Relax the body and breathe. And now focus. Find yourself starting to stomp on the pedals with your quads. Recommit to stitching that circle together. Maybe focus on scraping the mud or driving with the heels through the hips. In 2 and 1. All right. Bring your resistance way down. Slow your legs. My breath right now is 8 or 9 out of 10. My legs were quite uncomfortable during that. And if you ask me, could I have held that another 3 minutes? I don't think so. That was challenging. Go ahead and drink some water. Settle down into our beautiful cycling position as we're doing a little bit of active recovery right now. Keeping the legs turning, just light resistance. Good chance to check in with the weight on your hands, what your fingers are doing. How are your shoulders now? Is the neck aligned with the spine? Where's your gaze? Pick a spot. That is your ideal gaze point when you have a neutral spine. Maybe mark it so you know that's your focal point. You can use that as a meditative point during our classes. All right, we're going to do climb to finish up today. So we'll start in the saddle and then we'll come out of the saddle a few times at extremely heavy resistance. Everybody new to RevoCycle, Remember this. When we come out of the saddle in a hill, we add resistance to the point where we can't pedal it seated anymore, just on the edge of it. And we have to bring our body weight into it. Think about that. That's why we stand, to bring our body weight into a pedal stroke. We just can't turn seated very well. That's the goal. Just go ahead and add in some resistance now. Get your legs in the 60 to 70 RPM region. And let's really feel like we're in a hill now. You should be able to feel your hips and glutes pushing you over the top now. You'll see in my hips this kind of torquing motion. You see that? That's the glutes. Quads, of course, are working, but I'm trying to not make it all about the quads. Legs are definitely starting to ache already if we're in a hill. Ready for your first stand? In 3, 2, 1. Add so much resistance you can hardly or can't turn the pedals, rise into it, drive down with your body weight through the glutes. Keep your hands light. Keep the breath going. Come on back to seated climbing by reducing the resistance but holding your rhythm. Coming up again. In 3, 2, and 1. Crank it up. In 3, 2, 1, back down to seated climb, finish it here. Bring it all the way down to light resistance. That very likely made you breathless. That very likely caused great discomfort in the muscles of the legs. That's good. It's growth. You were able to do that on your own with me. Nobody forced you. You found it within yourself to do that. I'm just the guide. And I'm saying the same thing to myself. Proud of myself. Challenged myself today. So our goal now is to pedal lightly, low resistance, slow pedal speed, and allow our breath and our heart rate to come back down. That's our indicator that we're cooling down. So it's worthwhile now to pay attention to the breath and how it recovers. Let's slow our legs down a little bit more now. And maybe even at this moment you can sense the peace and calm. The de-stressing effect of mindful movement, mindful exercise. Alright, let's let our legs slow down. Until they're at a stop. And let's sit up nice and tall and feel the weight of our upper bodies in the spine passing through down to the sit bones with the shoulders relaxed. And take a couple of beautiful deep breaths. Let's stand up and put our feet at the 3 and 9 o'clock position, just dropping the heels. Continuing to breathe from the belly as we do this. And now let's switch the back foot to the front and again drop your heels, feeling the stretch in the calves. Beautiful. Let's swing a leg over the bike. Step off. We'll stretch our quadriceps now. Grab an ankle and just pull back. I have to balance myself with the bike. You can do that. I just saw a person walking wearing jester pants. You know jester pants have one color on one side, another color on the other. I love that. I want to know that person. Let's pull back on the other leg. That's how I think of them, as jester pants. Alright, we're going to stretch our hamstrings. I always use the top bar of the bike, but you're welcome to use the saddle or the handlebars. Continue breathing from your relaxed belly. Hold the stretch. And now to our other leg. Just holding the stretch and breathing. Whew. Excellent ride today. Excellent ride. Stick around, stretch, drink water, relax, allow yourself to come back into the moment before you get on with your day. I'll leave the music on for a couple of minutes. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.